Hello, my name is Michael Bray. This is the Week 3 Assignment, IKEA, Decision Making at a CEO Level. Growth Analysis. Projecting that success will occur with a new IKEA located in the rural India, growth has to be accounted for. Handling growth now with two IKEAs, with one in the urban high-tech city and one in Maharashtra, rural India, the logic would seem to cater to a good combination of both demographics if available. Identifying a higher income state or territory, but still marketing to rural India and then building a new store would be the ideal outcome. Again, this is after we have already established the Maharashtra location in the first rural India. Pictured here is the ideal choice, which is Karnataka, which is the yellow circle on both maps. It has a higher income per capita of $3,000, which is $500 higher than Maharashtra, yet Karnataka still ranks 7th in total rural population in India. So slightly smaller in rural population, which was the goal to begin with in the marketing group, but higher in per capita income. With the untapped market of rural India, the demand should not decrease as long as the global economy continues to grow, which it has according to the World Economic Outlook, which is up to 2.9% in 2019 and 3.3% is projected in 2020 and 3.4% growth in 2021. Amazon, which is the closest competition, will continue to pursue growth opportunities in ready-to-assemble furniture market of India. Personnel analysis. The long-term strategy for IKEA would be continue providing ready-to-assemble furniture to the people of India at a price that is economical and affordable, based on the surroundings and populations. Layoffs should not need to be considered at the onset due to the nature of expansion. However, hiring will need to be addressed. Attracting managers to help run the new IKEA will take recruiting from existing IKEAs. Options to choose from exist with the current IKEA, which is located in high-tech city. That would be our first choice. And potentially from other countries, which I have listed here with the map. The goal is to develop the employee pool that are indigenous to India or have a strong want to relocate to India, rural India in particular. Listed here shows the ideal region to choose from to add to the new store location in Karnataka. The reason behind this is these locations listed in the far right table represent locations in the Asian region. This will help to align the culture aspects in the ready-to-assemble furniture. Once the proper field has been identified, recruiting a group to move to India on a temporary basis to instill a foundation and then eventually return to their home, IKEA, is a requirement. Also, there will be a need for permanent moves that will be identified for personnel that desire to stay in India for a longer period of time. To recruit, bonuses and compensation for moving will have to be considered for temporary and permanent employees. Any employee that is not withholding the standard of IKEA will be entered into a program that aims to enhance the production and performance. A 6-month program that afterwards will dictate whether the employee is worth continuing to employ, also considering whether the employee wants to continue to be employed. Operational analysis. To ensure production and efficiency remain at a high level, we will implement Lean Six Sigma, which is already used in other IKEA locations. The IKEA edition that is used right now is DMAIC. That's to define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. This version of Lean Six Sigma was put into place for customer complaints. Applying the suggested improvements, these customer complaints dropped from 333 complaints a month down to 43, which meant more customer satisfaction. That equated to 88% decrease in complaints. If we use the same concept to ensure production and efficiency are occurring in our warehouses, in our IKEA locations, the same concept can be expected. The same outcomes can be expected, There should be an avenue to pursue to integrate vertical integration, which will help to cut inefficiencies in pricing and production. With the importing method used to bring in equipment to India, especially rural India, the idea of owning the system by having to incur extra costs for those transport services is something worth exploring. Cash flow analysis. Cash flow analysis problems can potentially occur with the importing of equipment needed to build the new IKEA store and equipment and furniture. to populate the store. Opening a new store in an international market introduces an entry and exit considerations of goods in ports that are used for transport. Bringing in tonnage usually requires fees or import duties. The amount of services and goods we bring in and the ports that we use from high-tech city, potentially they may be different than the ones we're going to use in the Maharashtra location. However, with the potential issue facing the cash flow needed for paying the duties on a frequent basis, the need for financial backing should not be a problem. This balance sheet represents fiscal year 16 and 17, where it displays the liabilities and equity that is associated with IKEA in the millions of euros. So as you can see, the equity and liabilities combined are of a high number, 52,949 million in euros again. So the financial backing should not be a problem. And if we run into cash flow problems, the idea is that where the source of our income, the source of our goods coming through the ports is where we would identify the problems dealing with cash flow. You have to have cash on hand to pay the vendors that bring you your products. Sales analysis. IKEA will be marketing overseas due to expansion within India, which we've talked about. Pricing model needs to be considered due to the nature of India and their particular hesitancy in spending money on a product. A quote from BBC on the current IKEA in the high-tech city is that they've got 7,500 products and they've worked hard to have about 1,000 products with a price of $3 US, and less than 500 products for less than 100 rubles. So if we base the product on that pricing line, the new IKEA in Maharashtra is 14% less in per income capita, which you can see in the diagrams, $2,500 US for Maharashtra and $2,900, which is Telangana, the state in which high-tech city is located in. Therefore, we'd have to implement a similar structure. So we would take the $3 that about 1,000 products were priced at, and we're going to reduce them by 14%. So we need to have about 1,000 products under the $2.60 range in Maharashtra to match the pricing model used for high-tech city. Risk analysis. The underlying risk and adding an additional IKEA to India, rural India, is evaluated with cost analysis. Discussed previously is the pricing model that is currently in place in an urban city of high-tech city, where the pricing models are already set aggressively to cater to as much as possible to the mostly cautious, frugal demographic. Moving to a rural area will require even further cost-cutting with pricing models. This is a tremendous risk as it delays the return on investment with such substantial amount of investment that will be required. For reference, about $1.5 billion has been invested into high-tech city location. Again, urban location. The path forward to circumvent the risk involves even further risk. However, it would provide a relief on the delay of return on investment. The path is to procure the services of transporting the services from establishing a plant warehouse that serves as the assembly of the furniture. We can also purchase ocean transport services and even truck delivery services that come from ports and delivered to the IKEA store. Essentially, we are integrating the vertical integration. It's all considered a risk. However, it will circumvent India's economic services and jobs that are already in place. The potential is here that IKEA would employ India's population at a certain percentage, so that way it doesn't have a negative connotation on marketing and a view in the public as that IKEA is outsourcing all of their jobs and taking jobs that are currently in place from Indian demographic. The ability to pursue an untapped market like the rural India is tremendous. In order to balance the risk and reward, there will need to be a common ground sought out with procuring services to reduce cost. If we're going to have a location in rural India, understanding that owning the ports of entry and the means of transportation in between the locations is vital to ensure that return on investment is met at a much earlier pace than if it would be if we had to purchase the services from other outside vendors. Thank you very much.